people seem to be split on the performance of Zach Cunningham against Dallas. He led the team with 10 tackles. He had 4 run stops. He had a pass breakup. Why are people so divided? Some people are pointing to some pretty bad lapses in coverage. Do those go back to Zach Cunningham? Let's take an in-depth look at Cunningham's performance in the Dallas game and see if we can answer that question. On this first play, watch Zach Cunningham right here. He's so good in the run game. He's going to track this one all the way outside. The Cowboys have a pretty good blocking setup. He's going to be able to shed the center trying to climb to the second level and get him, able to hold him off, which is a good thing. He's able to get out and make a play because they get 77 out on Darius Slay on the perimeter. Unless Cunningham's able to get outside here, this could be a big gain. But he's able to get off the center's block there and force the running back out of bounds. That's a good play. Now, there are some deficiencies that show up in his game in coverage, and he has some good coverage reps. He has some bad coverage reps. This is one where I'm not sure exactly what he's supposed to do, but there's 4 receivers on this side, so 4 strong messes with a lot of your coverage rules at times. Regardless of, I don't know what the rules are here, but I do know there's dual crossing routes, and he tries to chase the crosser to the top of the screen, and James Bradberry, you can tell by his reaction, that's not what was supposed to happen here. So re-roll the tape. You see at the snap, he's peeking at the top here. He's peeking up top. He starts to move. I don't know who he thinks he's covering. Like, if he thinks he's covering 87, this is a bad job. He tries to chase him. Bradberry's trying to get him to stay. You see Bradberry jumping up and down. Ultimately, the pass is dropped. Communication issues in the back end of the defense. And here I'm pretty sure Zach Cunningham was at fault for this one. So there's good things and there's bad things about him. But he does have some good coverage reps later in this game. Here's another one in run defense. It's going to be this little end around. And you'll see from the linebacker position, he's going to track this. Now, it doesn't help that the running attack helps the defense immensely, that Josh Sweat is able to get upfield so quickly here and force him to stagger backwards, and then you get Zach Cunningham flying downfield, pushes him out of bounds at the original line of scrimmage to get to second and long. So, again, really good in run defense. There's a lot of reps where he does really good things in this game. Let's keep moving on here. Now, this time the Eagles are going to be in cover 1 man. They're going to spin their safeties. Kevin Byard is going to go be the deep man. Reed Blankenship comes down in man coverage on CeeDee Lamb. And so you're supposed to have a hole defender here from the linebacker underneath. Should be man coverage on the backside. That means that Zach Cunningham is responsible for this tight end who runs a vertical route. And what does he do? He abandons him completely, and he goes to CeeDee Lamb. Now, maybe you could make an argument that he sees Dak looking that direction, start to separate the ball, and he's trying to come make a play. If you wanted to have a glass half full approach here, I kind of just think he abandons his guy completely. Probably got a little mixed up again. Again, if you want to think that this is him making a great coverage read, by all means. I haven't seen a linebacker, especially on the Eagles, play with that kind of chops and coverage in a long time. So I think that's just another miscommunication. Now, this is one that looks really bad on Zach Cunningham. This isn't on Zach Cunningham. This is on Sean Desai. This is 3rd and long. The Cowboys come out in 10 personnel. That's a terrible 10. They come out in 10 personnel, which is 1 running back, 0 tight ends. All 4 of these guys are receivers. The Eagles stay in nickel personnel. They're going to play cover 2 man. Cover 2 man is fine, except you're asking a linebacker to be one-on-one with a receiver, and that's going to go about as good as you would expect it to. He's going to go for the press here because he just loves to hit you, and he whiffs entirely. This ball could be out right here. You're going to go get that first down. Now, Dak doesn't hit that throw. I feel really bad for Eli Ricks on this one. Eli Ricks on CeeDee Lamb. This is really good coverage, but because there's room for Dak to scramble around, he ends up getting the ball out anyways. But this is one that looks really bad from Cunningham on film. I don't know what Sean Desai is seeing there. And we're going to see that again later in this one, unfortunately. Now, this is a much better 3rd and long call. Again, we're 3rd and long. It's going to be a simulated pressure here from Nicholas Morrow, who's going to dive out into coverage. This is going to be a cover 2 zone from the Eagles, and we'll see him drop out here. You're just trying to rally and tackle. He follows this break outside, and he's going to get enough of the tight end and hold on for everybody to rally and tackle. Keeps the Cowboys out of field goal range. That's a good rep in coverage there. And so that's what you want to see more of. Here we see down in the red zone. Again, this is Cunningham right here. He's going to carry Jake Ferguson up the seam. This is another one. I think he does a pretty good job. He doesn't go for that aggressive jam. He doesn't have to worry a ton about getting beat over the top because there's not a lot of room to work with, and I think he does a good job of attaching to Ferguson here. Playing inside, right? This is where you want to play. And he just runs him out of the back of the end zone. Now, he doesn't get his head around, but that's okay. We don't need him to go make that interception. We just want him covering a guy up. And here we're going to see him again in the run game. Watch him flow downhill. He does this so quickly, so well. Able to contact the running back, stand him up, let help arrive. It takes a long time to get him to the ground, but that's a good job by Cunningham there in the run game once again. This time we have Cunningham right here on the hash. This is the play where CeeDee Lamb is in the backfield, and CeeDee Lamb is going to run the angle route. This is just an impossible ask for a linebacker because Lamb could threaten the flat. He could turn this into a wheel route. He can break it back inside. This is tough to defend on a running back that's a good route runner, much less a wide receiver. Just no chance here by Cunningham. This isn't a play I expect him to make. It's a situation I would like to see Sean Desai not put him in, but that's going to happen sometimes. The Cowboys schemed that one up specifically, so you tip your hat and you move on. This one I think is a pretty good coverage rep, just spot dropping in zone coverage near the red zone. One of the things you notice on the film is that Cunningham gets better down at the goal line because defense is easier. Spaces are condensed. You don't have to turn and run with guys. On this one, he's going to do a good job of just sitting in the middle here. You got the routes coming. You got a running back coming at him, and then he sees Dak break the pocket. Darius Slay comes up and hits Dak, and then we get the helicopter here by Zach Cunningham. Let's watch that again because that's beautiful. Keeps Dak out of the end zone, and they would get a 4th down stop shortly thereafter. Now this one, he's so good coming up to attack. This is going to be a screen pass, and he sniffs out the screen pass immediately, and just watch him dive down, and he teams up to make the tackle. That's just a really quick trigger. That's part of that being so good in the running game thing from him that we see. He's so good attacking downhill, and he does a good job of recognizing what's in front of him. He just struggles at times when he has to drop back into coverage. This is the 4th down call that's an incompletion. The Eagles are bracketing CeeDee Lamb. You've got Lamb right here. You've got an outside defender. You've got an inside defender. Dak sees this, and he immediately knows he's going to have an isolation on the backside, and he immediately goes to that. It's going to be incomplete, but if he had stuck with the front side of this progression, if you watch in the slot, you've got Jake Ferguson running wide open because this is another one of those really aggressive jams that Zach Cunningham tries to hit, and he just misses. Boom, misses. You're leaning entirely wide open for a 1st down. It's just really bad technique. See how he's lunging forward there? He's got all his weight's leaning forward. He almost falls over, missing. That could be an easy completion if Dak was on that side of the progression. Fortunately for the Eagles, he backed off. And then we get to the last one here. Not the last play of the game, but the last one in this clip. It's down on the goal line again. This is the sack that Josh Sweat gets. The Eagles are really fortunate that they got a sack here because, again, there's 4 receivers on the field. This is 1 personnel. 0 running back, 1 tight end right here, 4 wide receivers. But the Eagles stay with 2 linebackers on the field. There's 20 seconds left in the game. Dallas has no timeouts. They have no running backs on the field. There's no reason to have 2 linebackers on the field. And people pointed this play out and wondered about the cornerbacks that were on the field. But Darius Slay and James Bradbury are both on the field. You've got Slay in the slot on CeeDee Lamb. You've got Bradbury on the field. You have Eli Ricks on the field. Sidney Brown has played in this game. Sidney Brown should replace Zach Cunningham in this situation. You just can't ask him to go cover Kevontae Turpin one-on-one. and Turpin's going to run a route with an inside route stem and breaks it outside. And the Eagles are really fortunate that Josh Sweat gets home because this is wide open. Like, if there's time, there's just not time. Like, if Tyron Smith holds up, which he's done almost all game, and if Terrence Steele holds up, which he didn't do much at all in the game, but this is the play that we're talking about because this is the play that cost the Eagles the game with 20 seconds left. If that ball's out right now, this game is over, and the Eagles are going into their bye week at 7-2. Fortunately for the Eagles, Josh Sweat gets the win here off the right edge. Sean Desai put his guys in a situation to fail at the end of the game. I don't know why Sean Desai is refusing to play dime packages. It could be injuries, but on the final play that we just talked about, you had everyone available. Slay and Bradbury are both on the field. Eli Ricks was on the field. The Eagles have shown that they're willing to put Sidney Brown on the field. You can't put Zach Cunningham in that situation and ask him to cover Kevontae Turpin. The Eagles have to come out of the bye week with a dime package. Zach Cunningham is a good linebacker against the run. He's okay at times in coverage. He's never going to be okay against a receiver. And teams are going to start going for wide receiver sets if the Eagles don't respond with a dime package to exploit him in coverage. Sean Desai and the Eagles need to play to the strengths of their personnel, and one of those strengths is getting Zach Cunningham off the field. As good as he is on rundowns, try to get him off the field in obvious passing situations, especially when the offense goes light personnel.